Good evening, fans from around the world. It's African slash Nigerian politics. We're going to be talking about the Edo State gubernatorial elections that was concluded over the weekend. And what we need to do that is Kole Williams, Warif, and Mustafa Jinodi. You guys are welcome to the show. Mustafa, you can dive in from here.
Welcome, everyone. I'm far away, so I don't know if all the rumors are true, but I'm hearing that there's heavy. I'm in Washington, D.C., which is also a corrupt town, but I'm not in federal capital of Nigeria, or I'm not in Edo State. So apparently, it looks like a lot of people don't believe that there's any way that what party was it that came third again? What's his name?
Labour came third,
Labour
PDP second, APC won.
And how many votes did Labour have?
22,000 plus. Very low.
And how many did the other two have? Yeah.
Over 200,000.
APC had 322,000.
So yeah,
right?
The numbers don't look correct. We'll start off with that, Falabi. Give us your own thoughts. Give us the facts, but also give us your suspicions and the reasons for them. Yeah.
You know the funny thing? I saw one of the accreditation forms from the National Electoral Commission, and I saw the number of registered voters to be a little under 200,000. And the people that voted were more than the number of registered voters. So you can begin to see the discrepancies that make Nigerian elections a big joke. So,
and they can't even cover it.
No matter how you look at it, it's a sham. And APC is fast becoming a tyrant. I don't know. Nigeria is becoming a one-party state, and it's scary.
Yeah, well, you're not alone. This is a problem all over the world, but it's a problem in Nigeria where money is choosing party, is choosing who wins elections, is determined by money, and usually there's only one or two parties, like in the U.S., Democratic Party and Republican Party, and that money is just too powerful. It helps them buy elections one way or another. We'll get back to you, Fabi. What are your thoughts, Warif?
For the election, whichever way it has gone, I know that, these people, they work with professionals that might help them do whatever thing they want to do. I know some people, they don't have the conscience. They only think for now. They don't think about the future. They only see now. And at the end of the day, back what you've done. So, and again, one thing about Nigerian politics is godfatherism. And at the end of the day, the godfather...
Election is very bad, very bad. You might have to turn off your screen.
So why not allow the people... Because before this time, they've been talking about federal... Okay.
We'll come back to you because the connection is bad. I'll come back because we're not capturing anything that you're saying. Let's go to Kole Williams. What do you think? Yeah.
I think the whole situation is very frustrating, and you'd be surprised as to why I'm frustrated. I'm not frustrated about...
No, you're frustrated because of the penalty that Arsenal getting kicked out of the game.
We'll come back to that one later. I'm frustrated at...
I'm just joking. I'm joking, yeah.
We perennially lament, corruption, this, that. Why can't they stop it? If you want your freedom, you're not going to be given it. You have to take it. We have a free press. At least in Nigeria, we have a relatively free press, okay? And doing all this stuff. I blame the Labour Party and I blame the PDP, not just for this election, but for the main election.
Okay.
Because if you want to properly challenge elections, you need to make sure that at every polling booth, you are able to video and corroborate the number of voters with video evidence at each place and collate it so that you have all of them, all the small booths that, they collate from 100 people to 1,000 people. Your party is organized. You do that. Yes, you do that. And then all the parties agree, this is the agreed figure. All the three parties sign on it and you ratify that. Now, the government is going to do all their nonsense and all their tricks and all their games. But this is an independent system that we can set up ourselves to take our power back. And nobody can stop us doing that, so that we can actually make it clear that, look, these people are rigging. But you can't just complain out of the air that these people are rigging, and you have not been able to show something that is able to make it quite clear what is going on. So I blame the Labour Party and the PDP for not doing their homework properly in order to make sure that they can collect these numbers. And if they are not,
I think part of it is money and intimidation. Because money and intimidation, like Wike says, that
doesn't cost money. What I'm saying is simply organization. These are organizations.
But also, I'm not trying to argue with you, but here's a problem. To record every single voter that comes in and everything, that takes resources. It takes money.
No. I'm not saying you record. No. I'm not saying you record every single voter. At the end of the polling booth, when they finish, the members of the party all come together after the count, and they verify the amount at that polling booth. And then that number.
But what about if there's double voting? What if there's double voting and other things? This is a problem. What if the votes even count up to?
That's what I'm saying. At the ground level, that's what they do when they mess around with the numbers. But the numbers will be at variance with the people at the ground level. At the ground level, there are people that.
But here's what I'm saying. What if 2 million people come to vote for, let's say, PDP, and they're not eligible to vote, and they come at the station? That's a form of fraud also that you can't just do by verifying the count.
Yeah, but that's not what's happening. That's not what's happening.
But how do we know? We don't have evidence.
Just making up numbers.
But we don't know for sure because we don't have evidence.
That is the reason why we don't have. No. Even if they're going to bring large numbers of strangers in from town, people are going to know. The residents will know. They will raise an alarm and will become aware of something like that. So what I'm saying is that the reason why it's not working is because these parties are not organizing themselves to make sure that they can actually say our records are at variance with these records. And because they cannot do that, we don't have a leg to stand on. It's just speculation. And
I think I agree with what you say, but for that to happen, though, then that's a. And these guys are not going to. Here's the thing. Maybe I'm wrong because I'm ignorant. Isn't there a procedure for counting votes? It's not just let's have people there that are observing. There's a procedure.
Yes. There's a procedure for. They don't follow it. What I'm saying is that the parties can do their own
he's blaming the parties.
And make sure.
I'm not saying that maybe he's right. He's blaming the parties, but I can't know if that's true until I know what the procedure is supposed to be. What is the procedure supposed to be at Folabi?
Mustafa, the Electoral Commission is a puppet of the ruling party, so they don't follow procedure. Basically,
Now, what can these other parties do to prove it, or to
they can, like Kule said, they can come with photographs and video evidence of the counting and collation, so that if there's
is that allowed? Is that allowed?
Yes, it's allowed. It's allowed.
Yes,
there can be representatives. So that if they have to go to court and challenge the results, there is clear evidence to do that.
Okay. Now, the only thing I have to say is that you can have intimidation on
they learned from the general election to not do this, make this mistake again. I made the complaint, I remember, in the lawyers group. I took a lot of abuse. And I said, if you're not organized enough to organize your team, your party, to know what you've won, then why should I vote? Why do you deserve to win if you're not organized enough to make sure that they're not able to pull the wool behind your eyes? Because there are things that you can do. The only time that you cannot get away with it is if you don't have a free press. If you have a free press, no amount of cheating will get you in. You will get caught.
Okay. All right, so let's move on. I agree with you guys. So let's move on to
themselves need to step up.
Okay. What about what's your thoughts, Saeed?
Yeah. Good evening, everyone. So I quite agree with it.
So next time we have to do landscape because your thing is not on landscape, but it's okay. Are you on laptop? Yeah.
Yeah, no. I'm using my second phone.
Oh, okay. Can you try putting your phone to the side? Okay. Next time, don't worry. Continue. Okay.
Okay. So as I was saying,
yeah, that's better. Yeah. Okay.
So as
we can always edit out the other part. Go ahead. Continue.
From what Mr. Kunle have said, I quite agree with a lot of things that he said. But the issue now is, even at that point that they have a video evidence, they have, because let me not lie to you, they still have some level of evidence that if we have a good judiciary, it should stand. But now, what I'm trying to say right now is, these our politicians and our leaders, they've gone past you just showing them evidence anymore. They don't believe in that evidence anymore.
But we've never shown them evidence. That's a problem. We've never shown them evidence. So why don't we at least get
evidence? Even with the evidence, they don't work with that. They will still argue.
There is evidence.
During the presidential election, there were evidence.
They had evidence. They had some evidence during the presidential election.
They don't work with evidence. No matter what you do, they overrule it.
They don't work with evidence.
It doesn't matter. Let us get. It's different because we don't know. The reason why they're able to overrule it now is because we don't know. If we're able to actually see people standing and saying, me, I'm Labour, me, I'm PDP, me, I'm APC, and we agree this is the number of people that voted at this polling booth, and this was the voting.
Let's say one thing. Nigeria works. Abiola won the elections. Everybody knows it, and he still didn't change, and the country didn't change. They had riots for a few days. They had riots after people didn't riot until World Cup was over. Because they're worried about World Cup, they're not worried about election rigging.
If I may pitch this in, Mr. Kule,
but it was speculation. We didn't prove it.
No, Abiola won, hands down, and they killed him.
Well,
if I can say, how are the feed reps going to get this evidence that he is talking about? Even if they provide them
very good. Now let me explain to you. All you need is a phone. All you need is a phone. And when they call I don't know how, assuming that they did these elections the way they did the general election, when I was at the poll, what happened was that they came together, all the parties came and presented themselves at that local polling station, and they called out the numbers, and all the competing candidates agreed on that figure. Now, what I'm saying is that at the election...
that they are area boy. Have you forgotten?
Yeah, they have their talks.
Let me land. That wasn't what tipped the scale. Area boys and all of that nonsense isn't what tipped.
They will smash the polling unit.
They will smash your phone.
If they are trying to
do that in that polling unit, they will squash it.
That's what I was trying to say. Voter intimidation.
Yes, they will squash. Everybody will leave. If they don't count
these guys, they are desperados. They are so desperate.
That can stop the election. If they stop that polling unit from recording or from achieving that thing, they know that.
Are you telling me? So you are telling me? You're telling me now that at polling booths, because I never saw it or experienced this, because I saw lots of videos of people making videos at polling booths. So I find it hard to believe that everybody.
I can even send it to you now.
But you can't do it. Sorry, guys, very quickly. Let me jump in. Said, I believe you, but you can't. Said
to come out and video
both of you guys pause for a second. You guys pause for a second. You can take small snapshots. That's not going to prove anything. But they will never allow systematic recording. Yeah. By one person, they will not allow it, and the touts will not allow it. One person can take a video here and there. That's not enough evidence.
Snapshot is all you need.
I even sent it.
Snapshot is all you need. And see, the touts are not in charge of the polling booths. There's armed policemen at the polling booths.
The policemen work for the federal government, man. They're even in line with the touts. They're friends with the touts.
You're just going to an entire
world. Let's move on, guys. Because we'll be arguing about this for 30 minutes. Okay, we'll come back to Kule. We don't want to get lost.
Everything you said.
We don't want to get lost. Kule, we don't want this session to go into chaos. Okay, finish what you have to say. Finish. Said. Then we'll move to Afolabi.
Okay. As I was saying.
Yeah. Very good show so far. Also, yeah.
With the video evidence that he's even trying to talk about, fine. That idea is very, very, very solid. But the issue is, all these towns and all these area boys, they will come and quash this thing. So, my opinion, I think we've even gone past that. We've even gone past trying to achieve, show evidence or make sure that the ruling party doesn't steal or doesn't rig.
Towns and area boys are not going to rig.
it is crystal clear that they will rig election no matter what, if they want to rig election. So right now, what we should be thinking about is how to change our constitution. There is no two ways about it. We've tried every possible thing to do it in a normal way. These people are not ready to play by the normal way. That is something that we
I agree.
Yeah, they are not playing.
So let me
add
something. So to solve this problem, the Constitution of Nigeria needs to change, and not just Nigeria, even America. And there needs to be heavy regulations of elections and everything. It needs to be
how the Constitution changes.
INEC is compromised. Judiciary is compromised.
Do you know why that
is compromised? The police is compromised. The executive is compromised.
The whole system.
National Assembly is compromised.
And also the population. And also you have tribalism and population. No one wants to hear.
So many illiterates. You can see they are buying votes for how much? 10,000 naira. Are you telling me educated people like us will take that kind of money? Majority of us won't take that kind of money. Okay, so better.
I'll come back to you, Saeed. Okay, let's go back to Arif because the phone was down. Let's go to Arif.
Everybody's talking about what the problem is. Nobody is looking at the solution.
Okay, let's go to Arif.
We're all lamenting.
Actually, Kule, let me say something. Kule, let me say something before we go to Arif. Kule, let me say something before we go to Arif.
Well, you can't change the constitution because to change the constitution, you have to change the voting system, and you can't.
No, you have to change the constitution first.
You have to change the constitution so that we cannot change the
voting system.
Kule, let me talk. Kule, you've had your talk. Let me talk. Let me talk. The only way the Nigerian constitution is. Kule, let me talk. Kule, let me talk. Kule, let me talk. You will never change. Kule, I'm gonna mute you if you because you're beginning to interrupt the flow of our show. You will have your chance to talk, please, because we don't want the show to get into chaos. So we're supposed to go to Arif, and then we'll come back to you later. What I am saying, this is just my small point. You can't change the Constitution through legislation because the legislators are corrupt and they will never change it. So now it's up to the people of Nigeria and the labor union. I'm not finished. Don't talk, Kunle. It's up to the people of Nigeria and the labor union and everything to be educated enough to know that we need it and to go on strike and shut down the country until it happens. That's all I have to say. Now, Warif, continue. Yeah.
Okay, you see, the whole system in Nigeria is this. These people, they work for their principals and they use the federal might. Then again, these guys are desperados. If they will do a free and fair election, you will see that they will floor APC hands down. Either Labour or PDP will floor APC hands down. And again, talking about video recording or whatever, or evidence, these guys, they don't work with evidence. The problem is INEC and the judiciary. They are so corrupt to the core. I'm telling you, even if you come with evidence, whatever, use a digital or standard camera to do this thing, if they don't smash your camera, God help you, you scale through your recording and you bring it. They will not obey. They will look for a way to scheme themselves out. So the whole system is corrupt. The judiciary, the INEC, they are working for their principal. So if they want to do a there's no free and fair election in Nigeria. Right now, the APC candidate, I would say, is a boy to what's it called, Adams Oshiomhole. And bet you tomorrow they'll start having problem. Because if the guy does not dance to the tune of Adams Oshiomhole, Godfatherism, they'll start having problem in Edo State. Why not allow the masses to have their say in an election? You always want to use federal might, want to use this, want to use that. You see, INEC is so corrupt. The security, they are corrupt. And some of the masses, so how can you go, in short, somebody like me, you cannot even bring money to say you want to, I'll tell you to hell with your money. During the presidential election, I left my polling unit around to 8. We were there. Where we left was because the thing was not uploading. The security men, they were doing nothing. Under the rain, we were the one that were organizing the whole place. Police people, the police security men, they were just there. They didn't do anything. It was some guys that were organizing it. So this thing, they need to fix everything for it to work.
Yeah, I agree. Very good. Thank you. Very good. And also very clear. The sound is clear. You must have changed your position. Very nice. So let's go to Afolabi. Then we'll go to Kunle. Afolabi, what are your thoughts so far?
Yeah, it's not too different from what Warif said. Although I quite agree with Kunle that if it's just camera shots, videos, or drones, there should be enough evidence if they have to prove their case in court.
Yeah.
There are discrepancies. But the ruling party is in bed with INEC. And that's a big problem. So that even when the problem gets to the Court of Appeal or Supreme Court, the ruling party has put the judges there, and pretty much they will do their bidding. So that's why people really have a problem. Politics in Nigeria has become transactional. They don't even think about the people that are governing and the interest of those people. Can you imagine that how difficult things are in Nigeria with poverty, the cost of living and everything? People still voted for APC in those states to come and rule. Just shows you that that vote does not reflect the common man's interest. Really, it's more of rigging.
I agree. Thank you. Very good argument, man. You guys are, you know Nigerian politics inside out. I need to come and study with you guys. All right, so let's go to Kunle. So Kunle, continue your point and Afolabi had a good point.
Okay. Yeah. Now, it's naive to say let us allow the government to make the elections fair. That's just naive. And then apart from that, it's just lamentation.
I think everybody agrees with you, Kunle. Kunle, actually, I think we agree with you because we all said that the government, the legislative, will not be the ones to change the constitution. It's the people. Continue.
Now, the reason I said camera and video evidence will work is we're not trying to convince the courts. The reason why they're able to get away with electoral fraud right now is because when we say they cheated, we ourselves can't really say, oh, PDP got this vote, they got that vote, they got that vote, they cheated. We can't even say that. All we know is there was some confusion. We know they cheated, but we didn't actually collate anything. And we're not going to bother trying because we think that they're going to destroy our phones, which is, by the way, completely unrealistic and untrue because even almost every single polling booth has got people with videos and they videoed. I don't know anywhere that the entire people have come to a polling booth and nobody can video. That's just nonsense. So I'm sorry.
But trust me, I believe those types will deal with anybody. They'll deal with anybody.
And when it's done at the local level, the regional level, the state level, and the federal level, at all those different levels, and you have the human knowledge of what is going on there, if they still insist at that point with all that evidence in their face, the people will not actually permit it. Because I've seen what happens when you get caught out cheating. Even in Russia, when they cheat, they don't get caught. They don't allow a free press. Free press will be able to find out that they're cheating. So they suppress the press. Our press is free. So it's for us to now do it. And don't say, oh, I'm sure
let me tell you something. There's no such thing as free press.
They will be forced because the people
let me interrupt you.
Themselves.
Let me interrupt you. There's no such thing as free press. Whoever owns the press also has a political agenda, and his people who work for him with the press will write what he says. Whoever owns it. There's no such thing as free press. Well, free press would be covered by the government for everybody.
We're not being all the press in Nigeria is owned by Nigerians who are also of Nigeria. They're not running a foreign government. They don't have foreign interests, no matter how.
But they have personal interests within. Who owns the biggest media in Nigeria? Who owns it? You know, those types of things. Whoever owns it, they have a political agenda too. And when you work for them, you can't say the truth.
I don't know the
you have to say what you want.
Yeah. I don't know the biggest, but when I look at I look at Arise, I look at AIT, I look at Channels and Silverbird, and these are good news.
Those are owned by Momo. Momo owns Channels. Momo owns Channels.
And create debate. Yeah.
Even I know that. All right, go. Okay, we got to switch on. Let's go back to Saeed. Any thoughts, Saeed? Then we'll go to Warif because we only have 10 minutes. Okay.
Okay. So in continuation of what I was saying, the Edo election to me has opened my eyes and not really opened my eyes. It made me to come to a conclusion that I don't think majority of Nigerians are ready for this to take on our leadership. That is one.
No. How can these guys have 22,000 votes?
Secondly, no, let me land, please. Secondly, I think we have so many uneducated and illiterate Nigerians. If I may defend, I would say probably because they have weaponized illiteracy in Nigeria. That is why some things are happening. Because how can you, by now, you should know that with the inflation and glaring evidence that it is out there, not even, I was listening to Mr. Kunle making some points Very valid, fine. But we are not dealing with people that is reasonable. Now you are talking about evidence. Didn't Obi provided thousands of ballot boxes of evidence? That is one. No, please. Let me land, please. Before I forget some things I want to say.
Too much small
didn't
stouts.
Obi didn't Obi brought out a lot of ballot boxes? That is one. Is there so many evidence against that it is so glaring? Or should we talk about the Abuja scenario? So many that you can't tell me that the judges didn't know about a lot of all these things, but still, yeah, they chose to ignore. You understand me? But going back to this, our Edo stuff, I think I think if I think majority of Nigerians still need to suffer more so that we can actually come to our
when the suffering becomes real, then I don't think
our leadership, I don't think our top leadership have any empathy in their system or bloodline, because by now, if there's an atom of likeness for our people, they should by now know that man, they should have had enough. Because how many billions are they still looking for that they've not gotten? You
Crazy, man.
So by now, I think it's high time we the people have to change our tactics against them. There is no time playing fair with these people anymore. They are not going to change.
Thank you very much. This is going to be a continual debate because we're running out of time, but we're going to go to Warif now. Then we'll close with Afolabi. Let's start Warif.
I don't have much to say, but what I say is this. What we're experiencing in Nigeria now is what the great fella calls government magic. That is what we are seeing. Until we are ready to quit government magic, Nigeria will continue to go around in a circle without making progress. They see politics as a business venture to enrich themselves, to work for their principles, the judiciary, the security personnel. They are all the same. So let's quit this government magic syndrome and face reality of politics, giving the people good governance. Until we quit from government magic, Nigeria will continue to. The masses also, they should remove the poverty mentality from their mind. That's just it.
Yeah, so I'm going to continue from what you're saying. So I think the labor union, the citizens of Nigeria, the people who started in bad governance, they need to organize themselves. We need to organize ourselves and come up with an agenda for our country and say that the Constitution needs to go towards that. And even an illiterate, once you put that agenda down and you say nationalization of resources, give out privatization. If you want to privatize it, keep it within the country. Taxation, money for schools, development, everything, and also independent organizations which look for corruption and things. I know all of this sounds like a dream, but it's the only way it can happen. Same problem in other countries, the US, South Africa. So go ahead and give us your views, Afolabi, and take us out.
Yeah, basically, I'm just a little worried because of all these problems. Lack of integrity in the system. The election has become a selection process. Is creating voter apathy. People like me, I won't go out and vote if I know my vote will not count, because there's impunity and the ruling party is gradually becoming fascist. So that's why I have a problem. And it's on this note I would want to round up. I just feel system, like you rightly mentioned, there has to be constitutional reform, there has to be judicial reform, but there's no integrity in the system. So people like me, I don't have faith in the system, and I would rather not vote because my vote will not.
Thank you very much.
We don't even need any reform anymore. We've done loads of reforms. Reforms don't work anymore. That's what we are saying. Reforms.
You're right, because they won't respect, even if we change the Constitution, they won't respect the Constitution. So in line with the Constitution,
the legislature, they will change, they will reform it to the level that it will definitely favor.
So I'm going to agree with you and with Afolabi. He's right. Our Constitution needs to change, but also we need to have an independent people's union, which functions as one of the arms of the government, because it needs to be executed. The Constitution needs to be followed, because right now the politicians aren't even following the Constitution, and that's a bigger problem. They're not following the Constitution.
I explain why that can't work. It can't work that way round. You still have to get through the election before you can change the Constitution, because constitution is dependent upon election.
Okay, so Kule, here's where I'll disagree with you. Kule, hold on. Here's where I disagree with you. Here's where I disagree with you. Here's where I disagree. If tomorrow there was a strike in Nigeria and they said change the constitution, there wouldn't have to be an election. It would have to be up to the legislative people to do it. So it's not always election. It's up to the legislative people. But what I'm saying is that the citizens can put pressure on the legislators to change the constitution even before next election. Thank you very much. Afalabi, take us out. Thank you.
Okay, it's been a wonderful round of discussion. Our dear country, Nigeria, we want it to be better. We want electoral processes to be more transparent and have a lot of integrity so that people like I can vote, and even Moose can come to Nigeria and vote.
So yeah, I'll come back and vote. Yeah.
So it's on this note that we round up this evening. It's been a wonderful time with you guys, Saeed, Kunle, and Mustafa. Thanks for your time, and it's bye for now.
And Warif.
Warif is gone already, but too. Warif as well.
Oh, okay, he's gone, but we'll still say bye to him. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
All right, good one.
All right, good night.
All right.